Aavak went offline for you, but you could still hear me. That is so weird. I mean, how could I... Oh, that's so strange. I've no idea what's up with Twitch. Again, I strongly suspect it's some function of there's just so much traffic now that wasn't there before. Right, we're going to cancel that build and instead going to flesh this out. Vanya, thank you very much for gifting a sub there. That was really kind of you. What is crawling on the floor? Those are Dracos. I'll bring up the text, shall I? Let's slow this down so we can read it. So, Dracos. Dracos are a reptilian species boasting billions of microscopic hairs on their feet, allowing them to stick to and climb most surfaces. The tail of the Draco, called the train, is purely for decoration and can be lost or shorn without harm to the animal. As a result, Draco fibers are often farmed for use in textile production. Caring for Dracos is a fulfilling endeavour, I imagine, thanks to their companionable personalities. Some domestic Dracos have even been known to respond to their own names. And you've also got the glossy Draco, which is a critomorph. So the regular Draco will eat pinch pepper, mealwood, balm lily. Balm lily is amazing because it needs no fertilization. Both of these do. Mealwood needs dirt. Pinch of pepper needs polluted water and heat. Balm lily needs nothing but a chlorine environment. It doesn't consume the chlorine, it just needs to be in it. They will eat the growth cycle of the plants. They don't eat the product of the plants. They eat the growing plant. So you need to let them have the plant. So usually you would stop your derps from harvesting the plants so that only the Dracos can eat them. And they poop phosphorite. However, if they don't have food, then, I mean, other than slowly dying, they will still grow their fur if they're in a hydrogen environment. If they're in hydrogen, they will regrow their scales. So in this case, their fibers. The glossy critomorph, the glossy Draco, instead of having fibrous scales, has plastic scales. But it can only eat mealwood or bristle blossom. Oh, Vanya, that was so kind of you. There, no more ads. You gifted a sub. That is so, so kind. Yeah, the glossy ones are super cute. Also super amazingly useful. Because plastic is a very heat-intensive process. If you can get away with not having to have plastic, oh, you should. Time for us to replace these areas now. Alright, how's everything going over here? We are pulling down the CO2, good, and as we're doing that, more and more oxygen is going to start pooling. But more than that, it's going to pull the CO2 down from around here. Which means our dupes will have breathable atmosphere all around this area. All around here, they're going to be able to breathe, which is going to massively improve their productivity. And the fact that I just said that, and it made perfect sense, and it was quite a reasonable statement to make. Just, it's one of the reasons why this is a wonderful game. I'll leave that there for now. I think one of the hatches just died, and another hatch just ate it. That was a shame. Oh well. That meat would have been useful, but... all animals have an old age, so they don't live forever. Oh, you got out. How did you get out, you little scoundrel? Oh, you got dumped. I assume. No. Right. Strange. Right. Okay. Ooh, body temperature over here is too high. Oh, no, too low, maybe. No, too high. Oh, yeah, I see. Well, one thing we can do to solve that is a fairly easy fix, too. Is to do this. This will encourage the cold runoff from the melting ice to drop onto our plants. Actually, yeah, I'm going to prioritize that one. Let's get all of that work done quickly, if you could. Not to mention the ice itself. And this will, generally speaking, cool the area down a bit. There we go. It's going to take a little while because this is having to pull a lot of CO2 from a lot of different parts of the map. But it will eventually have done its job. Let's get this room done as quickly as I can because I don't want to have to hang around here waiting for it. Because the moment they take these doors away, this stops being stable because it'll be too big. So I need to be ready to replace it with brick pretty much straight away. There we go. Once all that's done, that'll be wonderful. What's the temperature like in here? Reasonable. Go ahead and build another ice sculpture if we can. There we go. This should now be stable again. Awesome. Right, I need to have a look at skills because... Oh no, actually, Filthy Fee hasn't gained any skills. Interesting. Bit surprised by that one. Quite surprised, actually. Peachy Keen Mama, I'm going to have you get into cooking. Also, I'm going to upgrade your hat because you do deserve a better hat now. Actually, was that number 2? Where's Improved Farming 3? Oh, there, yeah, Improved Farming 2, you know, because the other one is called Crop Tending. Yep. Makes sense. You could afford to have this now if I really wanted to give it to you. Yeah, go on then. I always flirt with giving my dupes way too many skills. I'm awful for it, I'm afraid. Awful for it. But now with that, I am going to want to hook these up to a new power source. Probably going to want to bridge this over here. And I'm afraid that's going to mean the death of this tree. That pains me a little bit, I'll be honest. But now that we've got someone who's at the threshold of their stress levels, I need to take care of that. Alright, what would I like to grow over here? Let's go with another earth leaf. It's a bit boring to have them everywhere in here, but they're one of the best ones for the temperature ranges, so it's nice and easy to get that decor bonus. Let's get that water out of the way so you're not constantly walking with wet feet. Okay, starting to look a bit better now. The breathable air is all the way down to this point, and it's going to continue falling. Breathable air is all the way down here now. Yeah, liking this. Our cook is no longer having to labor in basically soup of CO2. Just holding their breath the whole time they're cooking. You should be able to reach that one. I guess I'll give you a little ladder across though, just in case. Alright, getting there, everyone. Little by little, but we are getting there. There we go. What we got for our blueprint? Got aluminium ore, gold amalgam. I'm going to say gold amalgam. So, why is there a box of insulated tiles? Where? Do you mean this? Or do you mean this? Oh, this! Yeah. There's a leaky oil fissure in there. It's not a source of heat yet, but I figured I may as well just stick that around it just so I know where it is. Don't accidentally dig into it at some point. How hot is this liquid? Yeah, it's pretty toasty at this point. Let's get that out of the way. Plants have died? Where? Why? Oh, come on. Drop down, blast. Okay. Oh, that's the thing that just happened. Right, let's get this done quickly so I don't have to worry about the same thing happening again. So the reason why it did that is that the water wasn't actually that dense, but there was two types of water there, and the way that the game kind of models liquid interaction is a little bit interesting. Let's put it that way. Now, I am going to want a little water. I want this water to hang around and absorb more temperature from here, but I do want it to eventually just leak out and head out. Hey Mortis, I know that Aavak has long streams, but I have a thought that he might want to rest a bit when the weekend arrives. Yeah. I do enjoy resting. I mean, at the end of the day, I find gaming very, very comfortable. It's a very fun thing, but, you know, the reality is, you know, without me saying, oh, woe is me, you know, I've got such a hard job or anything like that, but streaming or any kind of content creation, there's a certain amount of, it's not just playing games, it is entertaining. I'm constantly thinking about how I'm presenting the media that I'm working with, how I'm you know, what jokes I'm making, that sort of stuff. There's a lot more thought going into everything. That's why sometimes I keep certain games just for myself. Those games are pure relaxation for me, and that's all I want them to be. Damn it again. Okay, need to get that sorted right now. Gonna have to move quickly though, because eventually that's gonna drown. But yeah, I enjoy. I'm quite happy to do long streams. I always have been like that. You know, this is I guess the pace that I usually have when gaming. I suppose you could put it that way. Now that should have cooled down this area enough. Yes, it has. So it's now a very comfortable area in terms of temperature, largely because I've dug up a lot of the hot material around it, or applied enough water that it's absorbed all of the heat energy, or a large portion of it. Right, how is the breathable oxygen? It's down around here now, so it's crept down even further. That's fantastic. We've got polluted oxygen there now. We're starting to see a proper line of oxygen building up around here. So more and more and more, the CO2 is going to be just drunk up. Soon, Filthy V, you won't need to hold your breath while in here, and that's going to be glorious time. Oh yes. Much glorious. Such time. I'm going to allow a little bit more work to be done everywhere before we put another ice sculpture in there, but for the time being. Yeah, now it's dropping the water back down here. Oh. This is now the point where this water is getting germy. That's a shame. But it is what it is. Really need to get back from using that as my default priority. 6 is a much better default priority in my opinion. Oh wow, the water in here is... The water level has dropped surprisingly far. Yikes. Big yikes. Let's cancel some of this so that we don't accidentally build out where I don't want it to be. Like, big yikes. Damn. I was kind of reliant on that one, honestly. Though that being said, I mean, this is... You know, keeping the chill quite well, but... How did that happen? I guess these areas just got warm enough that they melted, and then these pockets filled up with liquid. That's gonna happen. It is going to happen. I mean, ultimately, we don't mind. But I was starting to adjust to the idea that we might, once again, see plastic Dracos as the... glossy Dracos as the main source of us getting plastics. Not gonna lie, I was kind of excited. Food is decayed. Meal lice, that's fine. Though, we have now got polluted oxygen here, and that I can't abide, so... How about we get all of that moved right now? Ugh, bloody polluted oxygen. Eventually someone will breathe it and it'll leave, but... Ugh. Not what I wanted to see. Unfortunately, all the CO2 seems to be just wanting to hang around in there. That's a bit of a pain. Because unless the CO2 kind of wanders over in this direction, I can't do anything with it. Yep. Now it saves me a lot of trouble now, but still a little bit of polluted oxygen now roaming around isn't the best, but oh well. Right. Now then, this is going to continue to off gas for a while, and it's going to drive the pressure up, but we are making headway with making this area more breathable at the very least. And as we continue to pump out extra oxygen here and it expands out to make use of the space, it's going to keep compressing. So eventually you're going to have basically a little battle between the oxygen and the CO2 on the map. Yeah, more and more of this is just liquefying. You can hold about... Yeah, as each one of these breaks down, you're going to end up with about as much liquid. In fact, when this does completely melt, in many cases, you're not going to have like a full tile of water is more than this ice is going to generate. It's not going to generate a full tile of liquid. So that'll be an interesting one. There we go. I may hook up a little switch to this, just to control whether that remains active or not. A little signal switch right there. Then a tiny bit of automation, just so I can manually turn that on or off, and then I can just allow this water to accumulate where it wants to. Sand or a pufflet? I've already got 625 tons of sand. But I don't want a pufflet, so I'm just going to reject everything, and I'll wait for it to regenerate with the next one. Am I able to disinfect the water? Yeah, I absolutely can. Is that pip still there? Yep. Both of the pips, actually. Though this one is going to die very soon. Just from old age at this point. It is an old pip. Okay, apparently that one's now flooded. So what I'm going to do, to avoid that, we are going to pop these with mesh tiles, just so that any liquid can just run straight down. That should do nicely. I am getting a little bit concerned about the time it's taking us to get the aquatuner up and running. I mean, we've got part of the work done, but there's so much more to do. I can't wait until this has pulled enough of the CO2 out of here that this area can start... that they can breathe whilst operating this device. And we're doing a good job because the O2 is now down to this point. So we're going to start seeing the CO2 just slowly being drawn out. Alright, I'm now going to really insist. Let's get that done. Same here, and here, and here. And all the way along there. And then once all of the meal lice... once all the piping is done, I'll put the meal lice back down to a 7 priority. Hoshisaku, Aavak, goodness gracious. You've been streaming for a long time. I was just playing Rocket League in Astroneer, or in Astroneer for 2 hours, and I come back to find you're still streaming. Yeah. It is 7 hours now. We've got 1 more hour of Moors, and then I will probably wrap things up there. For those of you who are enjoying the stream, you have, for the past hour and the hour to come, got an amazing girl, Hi Kaiser, Curious Gamer, and Melissa to thank for using their channel points to extend the stream. Rocket League in Astroneer, medium rovers plus hydrazine thrusters. Oh my lord. The liquid can't probably get through here now because the liquids have effectively blocked each other, which is kind of annoying, but because that's the whole reason I built this, was to allow the liquid through. Hopefully gets to a point where it rises up enough that I can get at the liquid in there. But the liquid physics in this game are curious sausages. Oh, yes. Let's get that reconstructed, please. Yeah, we're going to have to sink this a lot lower than we did here. A lot lower to get that aqua tuna going. But it'll be worth it. But it is going to mean I'm going to need a lot more copper than I first anticipated. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to grab 10. Because we're going to need conductive wire. Because of the enormous power draw of the aqua tuna, we're going to need a lot of that conductive wire to run it all the way down. There we go. Perfect. Right. Okay. Next up is this. Construction. Can you please now prioritize construction to an 8? And the same over here. So we can making sure those lights don't turn off, because that would be kind of annoying. Deconstruction over here as well, because that's also quite annoying. And how are we doing here? It's getting down there. We're going to soon be in the sort of ranges that we can tolerate. The oxyferns are really close now. They're crazy close. They only needed to drop by another 7 or so degrees. That being said, 7 degrees in terms of like heat energy is actually a lot of energy, but you know how it goes. That does not need to be disinfected. It is never going to be germless. Ever. So there's no point. There we go. No, let's turn that back off. And just allow the water, the liquid that has been drawn to filter through. Yeah, we're starting to see some germy water building up in there now, which is a bit of a shame, but it is what it is. How much pressure is that going to be able to output before it blocks, I wonder? I'm a little bit concerned about that. In fact, I'm quite concerned about that one. I don't want my poor duplicants' ears to pop. Starting to see this creeping down now beyond this point, which is fantastic because it is really going to start leaching out that CO2. Though, if we can keep this going, then we will soon get to a point where the body temperature of the oxyferns is low enough that they can start helping out with the CO2 consumption. Right, let's get this done as well. And that is enough. Like, let's get all of this dropped to a 7, actually. Since food is fairly high priority. Plants have died, or once again, no doubt. Over here. Oh. Yeah, Bristle Blossoms over here. Hopefully that will work. We'll see. There we go. Also, while you're at it, if you could clean up Bilal's grave. Thank you. I mean, it's always going to leak down there, but let's try and keep it clean. Okay, once that's done, I believe we'll have a full circuit. Comes in, goes around, goes all the way around. Once that's done, goes up, all the way back down. Yep. Alright, we're getting there, peeps. Right, I'm going to say let's build the aqua tuna down here then. Now again, that's going to cost a lot to run this cable. But it'll do. Thermo aqua tuner. Pipes. Input pipe. Output pipe. Actually, we'll cancel that part. Go with exactly the same shape as we had before. Output pipe. Then bridge. And liquid temperature sensor. And finally, automation wire. Do I have enough? I do. There we go. Whole system should be primed. Of course, we've got to run the power down here, but that'll be the last thing we do. Where's that water coming from? Ooh, where is that water coming from? What melted? Huh. I might have been carrying ice up there for some reason. That's all I can assume. In principles. Hatchling eggs. That is not a bad one, actually. Sure. But they're going straight to the air cracker, I'm afraid. Still, a couple of new omelets would be very nice. Right. Is there a way for me to bring up all of the jobs that people have, I wonder? I don't know. Well, it just looks like they're happy to get down here and build this first. Okay, fair enough. I mean, it's not the first place I would have been building, but sure. It's going to legitimately be hard for them to do, but... because they've got to hold their breath for so far. Still, at least they can take deep breaths at this point. Which is an improvement on what it was a little bit ago. But yeah, this is getting nasty. We so desperately need that up and online. We've got 180,000 kcals. And someone is at 35 stress. The Force, yeah, that makes sense. The Force has low enough morale that their stress just is increasing. Just over time, stress is going up, which does suck. But... go ahead and build that. We're probably going to try and just shunt all of this across to this point. So it's all the way out of here. So this place will largely be a pretty place to be. Over here, the negative effects of the ladder are a bit aggressive, but perhaps we could work with that, though. Something we could get a landscape painting. Something nice right there. Yeah, I like that. Granite there. And we use the crown molding as well. That'll actually be quite nice. We could have some little... oh, wow. 1.6k filtration medium. Thanks. Could get some nice sculptures. See, I'd need refined metal for that, and that is a big nope. Let's instead go for some larger sculptures around there. That should work quite nicely, actually. Eventually we'll replace these ones with the same sort of stuff.